to emphasize how easy it is to make this skirt that we're making today, we're going to do it on this gorgeous sewing machine. So today we're going to make a very, very simple bias cut skirt. Now to make this mega easy, we are going to add some of this lovely stretch ribbing on the waistband. Now put a little notch in the centre front and the centre back, and for the front you do need to curve it down a bit. Now because we're sewing here outside in Isabella Plantation, I didn't want to bring any pins and stuff like that, so I've pre-cut our skirt. I've added notches going all the way down so I can be sure that everything lines up perfectly. So this is the most beautiful hand crank machine that I managed to buy in a second-hand shop in Sheringham, and it actually works. Look at that. Now we're not going to be dealing with any finishes today. I'm just going to show you basically how easy it is to make this skirt. So it's just 2 side seams, add it onto the stretch waistband. Now I press this up to go backwards, hopefully. Look at that, it doesn't like it. Now because I've done all those notches, and it might need a bit of oiling, I can just line up those notches and know that my seams are just going to be perfect. So you go all the way down your side seam. Now I'm going to let you go and have a look around Isabella Plantation while I do this, because it's obviously going to take a little bit of time. Look at that, that is so good. Done on this little machine in Isabella Plantation. Amazing. I would of course press it, but I can't do that here because I haven't got, I don't know if that, does it exist? A battery powered iron? If it does, can you comment below and let me know? Anyway, that's quite successful, but I want to show you what it really looks like inside. So that's what it looks like inside. I'm leaving the raw edges. I can go in afterwards and overlock it. But can you see that stitch? That's pretty good. So what I want you to do now is, so put it right sides together and do the other side in exactly the same way, matching up your notches as you go all the way down your other seam, because it's only 2 seams. I can't believe it has reverse. I'm really surprised. It's got different sizes of stitches as well. Oh, but it does need oiling, polishing. Oh, that's too small. Go a bit bigger. There we go. So I'm going to carry on down this other side, and you can go and have a look around. I have to shout a little bit because there are planes, but I need to stand back and show you. Look, it's nearly done. It's amazing. So what happens is, because it's on the cross and it stretches, it goes around my big hips like that, and then we add this ribbing onto it and it's done. All we have to do is hem it. But let me show you something about the ribbing, and I'll take my glasses off for that. So I stretched the ribbon, made sure it fit me, but what is important, I've done notches that show half and the front and back quarter. So what we're going to do first of all is, we've got our long strip here with all the notches on that we just said. We're going to put it together. Doesn't seem to be a right side and a wrong side, or maybe. And I'm just going to stitch like a centimetre seam allowance down there, so you end up with this big circle. So, do you know what, I haven't got a stretch needle in here, but it is just about okay, because obviously the ribbing is stretched. Perfect. So that's what we've just done. Now in any other situation I would trim it back and stitch it down in the same thread, but I haven't got the same thread today, I've only got blue, so I'm not going to do that. I could always do it later. Now the idea of doing the notches is, so the quarter notch lines up with the side seam, the front notch lines up with the front, and then this one lines up with the back, yeah? And as we sew it on, we stretch it. Now I'll just come into shot now. I would always use a zigzag stitch to do this, but my machine doesn't do a zigzag stitch, so I'm going to attempt to stretch it as I stitch it on, but I might need to help with the hand crank on the side. So I want that to be at the back, and this here is the back of my skirt. So I'm going to put it right sides together. Look, I'm sort of going inside. I'm putting it right sides together. That middle one is my back notch, lining up with the back, and I've got to make this stretch to the side seam. So can I tell you something, right? So when I applied this, I actually needed 3 hands, because I needed to stretch it whilst doing the hand crank thing on the side. And these lovely ladies came past. So we were doing it together. So there was a lady turning the handle like this, and I was stretching and applying the ribbing. And I think only in sewing, or maybe not only in sewing, but it is one of the most amazing things about sewing, the whole community and loveliness. And go. It's too stiff for you. Okay. Thank you so much. I know it needs, stop, sorry.
What are you making?
Yeah, what am I making? I'm making a skirt. Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Oh, hang on. Yeah, go. Stop. Just because I've got to bring it in.
Broken, which is
Oh, no.
I had to.
Yeah, look, I'll go backwards there. Isn't it good? It has backwards as well,
Yeah.
forwards. One more. Oh, I can do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at that. So oh, it's too far away. Look at that. So if I can make this bias cut skirt on that hand crank machine in Isabella Plantation, anybody can, surely. I don't usually wear skirts like this, but I'm just modelling it just to show you that it is a functioning skirt. I've got quite big hips, see. But look, is it good? I think it's quite good, isn't it? So that was made on a hand crank sew machine in Isabella Plantation in about 30 minutes. So this is how I cut the pattern for the bias cut skirt. It's really, really easy, okay? So imagine this is my fabric. So this is the width of the fabric, and then the length of the fabric sort of goes on down there. So I folded it over, and I actually find it helpful to press the fabric when I fold it over. I then measured my waist and then divided it into a quarter, measured my hips, divided it into a quarter, adding a bit of seam allowance, and then I kind of draw out a slight curve there for the waist, coming down, and I ignored the fact that it was too sort of short here and just kept going, and then curved a bit for the hem. And then what happens is I add the piece on that's missing there afterwards. Now that's me cutting it on the cross, okay? And then the length is whatever length I want my skirt to be. And then what happens is, when you open it out, can you see? You end up with a skirt shape, which is cut on the cross. Now you need to cut 2 of these, And for your front piece, you just need to come down like an inch more than you do at the back. And that's it. That's the pattern for your bias cut skirt. We've got 200 sewing tutorials on Stitches TV for beginners, intermediate, advanced. So go and have a look around. Thank you so much for watching, and come to Isabella Plantation in Richmond Park because it is gorgeous.